Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you may be watching. Welcome back to the Priceless Conversation. And here with me today, I have a very distinguished and honorable guest, whose name is Mr. Oluwanisola Bajela. Sammy, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Oluwanisola Bajela. I am a teacher and engineer by profession, and I'm passionate about impacting the life of everyone around me.
I think you fit in the theme for this month. Purpose and contribution, service driven influence, purpose beyond self, adding value where you are, leadership as responsibility. I really like to know, was there a person that drove your intent to want to teach even after studying engineering?
Not really. Right from when I was young, I actually realized that I have the skills of teaching. So I'm passionate about it right from when I was in secondary school. So I always teach my colleagues. So
Oh,
and
okay.
even after I finished secondary school, I was looking for something to do. So I ventured into teaching and I love it, teaching kids, how I can see them, they are like a source of encouragement to you. When you
Mm,
enter the class and you teach them and you see that they are doing well, so it's just like an encouragement and I love it. So I just find it enticing. So when I finished university after graduating from civil
mm,
engineering, so I ventured back into teaching. So and I love
wow,
it. So
wow.
and it's been fun all the way.
That's some great there to study engineering and then go to teach. Well, but would you say that there is something more that pushes you to teach rather than just wanting to enter the class and see the students do better? Is there other things that influences you?
Well, when it comes to teaching, teaching is I believe that teaching is beyond the four walls of the classroom.
Mm,
So it's just like you are projecting a life to the children. You are building something. That is what teaching is about. So you are something that you cannot achieve. You can impact others to achieve it.
mm,
And that is one thing that drives me a lot. So when I teach students, some of the things I could not achieve when I was in school, like I actually wanted to finish with A1 parallel when I was in secondary school, but because I went to public school, I was not that good enough. But I was able to make
mm,
A, B2 and B3 and all of that. But I was able at the end of it, or when I was teaching students, I was able to raise students who had A1 in their
wow.
mathematics, and because I teach mathematics and further
Oh, wow.
mathematics, so I was able to raise students who have A1 and even in their jam 90, 70, and that
Wow.
is very interesting thing
That's
to,
commendable.
yes, impacting
That's
them and seeing
commendable.
them, seeing what you could not achieve, seeing others that you can impact others to achieve that thing. I think
Mm,
that is
that's
definitely.
great. So when you hear the word purpose, what does it mean right now to you?
Well, I would say at this current point of my life, when I hear the word purpose, it's just a way of living life that to add value to others
Mm,
and to somehow make them discover themselves. So it
mm,
is more about others, like adding value to others, living a life that is not centered on yourself. Because everything, when we talk about purpose, purpose is never about you. You may,
mm,
at one point when you are growing, you may actually think that, okay, this thing is about myself, but you will actually realize that the end of it all is that you will add value to others, you will make them become better version of themselves, you will help them to solve problems. And that is
mm,
what purpose is to me.
mm. But I really want to ask though, can one find purpose outside of God?
To me, no. That's what I
Mm.
would say.
But I'm saying like your childhood, maybe traces, or maybe I like to ask questions, I like to talk. I may actually still find my purpose in it. Is there a way of it still linking back to God?
Well, there is a way that it links back to God. To me, I believe that God is in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and regardless of what you do, your main purpose, whatever you achieve in life, if God is not involved, it is absolutely nothing. It
Mm,
is absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, I would have to use scripture here. The Bible says that by separating yourself from me, you can do nothing. It
mm,
actually means that you can do some things, but everything that you will do amounts to nothing.
mm,
So even everything, there are people that labels, they do a lot of things after it all. But if God is not involved in it, it is absolutely nothing. That is my own
mm,
belief personally.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If the watchmen that build, they build in vain. Those that build,
Yes,
they build in
exactly.
vain.
Thank you
That's
very
so
much for
true.
that.
So is there a defining moment that one becomes clear about their purpose, or is it a journey of discovery?
Well, to me personally, I would say that purpose is more like a journey of discovery, because I would take it as like when you are climbing a staircase. You know, sometimes you cannot see the top. You might not see the top of it, but you know, as you take one step, you see the other, and you know, your purpose becomes clear when you take one step. You if you are waiting that you want to see everything at once, you will never make the move. So purpose is more like a self discovery. Once you do this, you know, you realize what you are supposed to do next. You know, for instance, now one of the fear that I had in mind when I had the nudge to write a book about one thing I once struggled with and how I can help people to come out of it. So, you know, what came to my mind is that if I started this and I was able to achieve this, what's next after that? Would I stop after that? So I now realize that actually you just have to take that one step. After taking that one step, once you finish it, the next step will unfold to you. So it is more like a discovery. You discover it. Once you walk, take a step, you will discover what you have to do next. Clarity comes as you progress. As you
Yeah,
progress. So that
yeah,
is my own take about
yeah.
purpose. It's more like
Just
it's
reminded me of something I heard. Was it not yesterday? I was watching a podcast and the person said, "Oh, it's better to fail forward than not even fail at all, fail
yes,
backwards."
yes.
That's so true. But do you think it's possible for a person to work in purpose and still not find themselves in that situation? When you are like saying, "Oh, my purpose, I want to influence people, I want to do this, and I want," but sometimes we might become so engrossed in influencing people and then forgetting our own self. Do you think it's so possible?
Well, I don't think it is possible,
Mm.
because now, you know, one thing that purpose does is that, just like I said earlier, when it comes to purpose, it is first about yourself. You know, when you are talking about purpose, you cannot give what you don't have.
Mm.
That means when you want to influence others, you are influencing them with a value that you have in yourself. And you get,
Mm.
and the more you are influencing, the more you help others, the more you discover yourself. That's what I believe. If you are truly helping others, you will discover more about yourself.
Can you give a
There is a saying by Ellen Keller. He said, life is an exciting enterprise or exciting business, but most exciting when it is spent on helping others. Now, you cannot help everybody, but you can definitely help somebody. So when you help others, you will discover yourself more. For instance, now I will take it to teaching line. You know, one of the things about teaching is that when I finished secondary school, I didn't do further mathematics in my secondary school. So it was only mathematics. So when I ventured into teaching, I found myself that I want to teach these students further mathematics, because when you are writing jam, you will realize that most of the mathematics questions, so-called mathematics questions, are further maths littered all over the place. So I had to develop that I want to teach these students. So anytime I want to go to the class, I prepare myself before going to the class. And before I realized it, when I wanted to study civil engineering, you know that civil engineering, you have to know mathematics. It's not
yes,
just basic mathematics. We go to advanced engineering, what we call engineering
engineering maths?
mathematics.
Yeah.
So now, helping those students, I was influencing them. I had to prepare before going to class. When I found myself in the university, it was not a big deal for me again, because what I taught them, I have it now. So I have given them what they need, but that thing also helped me.
It's stuck with, yeah.
Exactly. So I think there is no way where you can be fulfilling your purpose and you will now get lost in it. I don't think that is possible. That's my own opinion, actually.
So how do you handle the pressure of being a voice that people look up to?
Well, to me, I don't see it much of a pressure. I see it much of responsibility. You know, when you are a voice, when you see it as a pressure, it can break you, actually. So when you see it as a responsibility, when you know that people are looking up to you, there are things that you don't do. And you know, to me, I see it as a form of being authentic. I don't try to pretend. That's who I am. Although, you know, when you meet me for the first time, you definitely cannot know everything about me. But as a voice that people reckons with, I try to be authentic. That's how I see it. So whatever I want to do, I look at it that now this thing that I want to do, am I comfortable seeing this thing outside tomorrow? So anything that I want to do, I just look at it that if I do this thing now, and one of the people that are seeing me or that I'm influencing actually came across this, what would they think about me? And you know, it is about your reputation. Actually, when you are influencing, when you are influencing others, it is about more about your reputation.
Mm.
So what they are seeing is what they are going to be emulating actually.
Mm.
So you just have to be, I see it as a responsibility. I caution the way I live my life. I caution the way I speak. I don't just talk anyhow. I don't just act anyhow, because I know that I am a voice that
Mm.
is guiding some particular set
People,
of people.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But was there a time you struggled with your authenticity?
Well, a lot of times actually, because there were times that even some of the things that I believe that I know how to do, I actually question them.
Mm.
For instance, now teaching can be, as much as it is encouraging, it can be frustrating.
Mm.
There are times that I will go into class after preparing, I will teach some of these students something, and sometimes they might not understand it. I'll just go back to the to my office. In what way can sometimes you will be frustrated that
Yeah.
sometimes you will even give them tests, and you will see that almost all of them feel, what you will have to go back. What other way can I teach these students so that they
Mm.
will know this thing? So sometimes you will question yourself. Sometimes I have questioned myself, am I supposed to even be in this line? Because it is, a lot of people have seen you that you are an engineer actually,
Mm.
and normally in the society that we are, as an engineer you make more money than a teacher
Yes.
obviously. So people now seeing you that you are now teaching, they'll be like,
Mm.
why are you making such a foolish this? So sometimes I question myself that, is something not wrong with it? Am I not supposed to be outside there? But
Mm.
sometimes when those encouragements comes, and sometimes you know why you are on that path, when you know
Mm.
why, when you know the reason why you are on that path, it will sometimes fuel you back. And sometimes the
Mm.
encouragement comes in. This morning, I think in the middle of the night, one of my students sent his results to me,
Jam
jam
results.
results.
Oh wow.
He scored 274.
Oh
The
wow.
guy, when he was about preparing for that jam, what he did was that he listed all the topics in mathematics that he was having issues with. He was just my student, like nothing. It's
Mm.
not as if I'm taking him extra classes, because I have students that I take extra classes. So he will come to me after normal class. So I will just be sitting taking my extra students.
Mm.
So he would come to me that these are the topics that I don't know. I want you to teach me. He's not paying me, or he's just like, I'm just doing it. So I
Mm-hmm.
would teach him. So when he did the mock jam exam, the result came out. I think in mathematics he had 50 something. So I encouraged him. I said, you did well, but you can do better. So
Mm.
you see all those areas, some other subjects, English, I think English, mathematics, and one other subject, he didn't do well in it. He scored 240 something. Then I just told him, go and work better on it. If I this morning when I saw the result, he had 71 in mathematics. And even me, that when I did jump, I had 70. That was, I did jump twice. The first one I had 60 something, the second one I had 70. So that shows that this guy had accomplished something that I could not even do at my time.
Mm.
So it serves as an encouragement to me that, and he said something, he said, thank you so much for your time. And
Mm.
that really, sometimes you just be like, I think this thing is what it
Mm-hmm.
is, what it, when you see people because of you becoming better.
Mm. But if the case is different, you don't see people that wants you to continue that line. How do you feel and how do you get out of it?
To me, I feel like discouragement is inevitable. There are times that it comes. It's not every, one of my favorite quote that I always say is that sometimes you feel great, sometimes
Mm.
you will feel otherwise, but regardless, you have to keep on moving. When you know why you are on
Mm.
that path, I said it earlier, when you know why you are on that path, you just have to keep on encouraging yourself. Sometimes it will not make sense to people.
Mm-hmm.
It will not make sense. It is even you that sometimes it will not make sense to you,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but you just have to continue on that path.
Mm.
When you know that, okay, this is why I am on this path. Maybe the God told you that this is where you are supposed to be. I've always known that I'm supposed to be a teacher. Even if I leave classroom today and I'm no longer teaching classroom, I know that there will always be a place where I will teach, because I love
Mm.
teaching, and it is something that I'm passionate about. I see that is one of the things like I do the
Mm.
best of all the things that I know how to do. When it comes to teaching, I know how to do it very well by the
Mm.
grace of God. So
Mm. It reminds me of a Bible verse, but I don't want to misquote it. Anyways, let's move to people who chase after. I really want to ask though, um, the guy who came back to give thanks, people that did not come back to give thanks, how did you handle it at that moment?
when it comes to feedback,
Mm.
everyone actually expects feedback, but there are times that you don't get it, but you don't actually rely on those feedback to keep you moving. You don't actually rely on them. You know, there are a lot of people that I have taught in the past, even while in school, that have helped them to actually become better. Maybe they needed my help. You know, I have a pastor who actually, anytime a student who is in my department have any issue with any course, the pastor would actually refer them to me. So I'll put them through. Sometimes it may not be teaching, it may just be encouragement. Okay, do this better. Okay, we do a little bit of evaluation. So these are the things that you used to do before, so you can get better. So, and by the time they get better, some of them will not even come back. I think he has referred up to like 3 students to me in the past. It's only one of them that actually came back that said, "Oh, thank you very much for this," and all of that. The two of them, they didn't even, and you know, I will still see them and I still greet them. So it's just life. You know, it's not everybody that is grateful. But you know, what they don't know is that you are not the one that is at lost. They are actually the one, because when you are grateful, you will receive more. And when you are not grateful, you know what it is. So it's just like they just shut away because they think that they will actually not need you again. Because anytime they need you again, they will not feel the confidence to come back, because they realize that when you helped them in the past, they didn't appreciate
People
you.
are even aware of their mistakes.
Of course, some of them know. They actually know. They actually know. They just feel like, since I'm not needing you again, so let me just move on. At least I've become better. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it just reminds me of the 10 lepers that God healed and one came back to give thanks. I really want to ask, in all that you have said, it kind of shows that you chose impact over visibility or seeking attention. So for people that are choosing visibility, they just want the big stage of yeah, carry me. Everybody should see what I'm doing. No. So yeah, how would you advise such persons?
Well, what I would say to them is that if you're on that big stage and you have nothing to offer, it's just a matter of time. You will come down, because any platform that is given to you, it is so that you have something to offer people. And you know, every one of us, whenever we look at people that we think that they are on that big stage, what we are doing is that we are looking for a way to receive from them. So, and when you don't have anything to offer people, it's a matter of time. You will lose your relevance. It's a matter of time if you don't have anything to offer. So, and people that probably they have something to offer, and you know, that is why it is very important that when you are small, be building yourself. Because so that when the stage appears, when this big opportunity appears, you will have something to offer and you will remain relevant for a long time. That's why you see people that they are only relevant for a few seconds, or let's say few days, because after that they don't have anything to offer. It's just, let me just say, should I say luck? Yes, it's just like maybe opportunity present himself and they get into it, but they are not prepared. So when and you know, they said that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. When opportunity comes and you are not prepared, it's just a matter of time. It will slip away.
Yeah.
And when you are prepared, and even when the opportunity does not come, still be prepared. One day the opportunity might come, and when it comes, you will not start preparing. You know, there is a saying that you don't prepare for the battles in the battlefield, you prepare for the battles in times of peace. When nothing is chasing you, that's when you prepare, so that when the opportunity comes, take good use of it. So
A man of hard age. All right. I really want to ask though, was there a particular time, or would you say that prepare yourself, be the best that you can before you start pouring into others? Because there's this podcast or a glimpse of a podcast that I watched, and the guy said, oh, when you have half cup, but then you're pouring into other cups, then there's literally nothing substantial that is going around. Would you say that somebody should impact in themselves fully? I'm saying full to the brim before investing in others.
I think I saw the podcast you mentioned now. You know, to me personally, based on my values, I'm against what he said actually. Because
Okay.
if you are always thinking that you want to, because I think one of the things he mentioned is that there are points in life where you have to actually probably stay wicked and not give out, so that you don't give out to others, you don't help them, you just have to build yourself, so that when you now have overflow, that is when others will receive from it. That it is not, you don't pour from me. I'm against the idea, because the time is when you are trying to fill yourself, there are people who need your help actually, that if you don't give them that help, they might be lost forever. That by the time you are now filled, They are no longer needing it. By the time you are trying to fill your cup until it is filled and they can get out of the overflow, there are some of them that they would have been lost forever by that time. They no longer need the help. For instance, now I think one of the things they mentioned is probably when you are trying to, let's say you are trying to build yourself
Yeah.
wealth, you are trying to build wealth, and there are, let's say, some members of your family that actually need the help, but you just decided that for the next 5 years I'm not going to give anybody help. That by the time you, after that 5 years, what you are going to do to them, they are going to forget all those times that you refused to show up for them. But the truth is, what if some of them are no longer alive that time? That means you didn't offer the help when they needed it, and when you are made, they are no longer there, and they will never remember that you did anything for them. Even you yourself, it will happen that you now realize that I could have done. You might actually live in regret for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's
You
so
made
true.
mention of someone that lost his dad, but one thing I will always tell you, that guy, if I am to be that guy, if I were to be him, I would be grateful for one thing, that at least I spent my money. I tried to save his life before he eventually died. But then it not be that I
I
made the
didn't
money,
try.
but he later died. And it was so that I did not even
Try
make
at
try
all.
at all. So it is not until you are made before you help people. For instance, some of us that are making impact now, we are not made. That's the truth. It's not as if I am made. It's not as if I know everything. And if you look at everybody that is making impact, it is not as if they are fully made. They are even still discovering themselves. But during that process, you help others along the way. As you are going up, there is this saying that they say that it is lonely at the top. I always say that it is lonely at the top if you grow alone. If you don't grow alone, as you are growing, you are pulling people. When you get to the top, you will have companions there. So as you are growing, pull people. You have your friends, and that's one thing I'm grateful for. You can never be my friend and you will stay back. I will always eat you up. What are you
Definitely.
doing with your? It will be sometimes you want to talk to me about something. What are you doing with your life? Sometimes that's how I talk. Even my students, that's how I talk. They know me. Once I enter class, I will say, "What are you doing with your life?" That's the question I ask you. You don't just waste your time around. I'm not saying that you should not have fun. It is good, but ensure that you are doing something. Ensure that you are
Yeah.
helping others. As I am helping you, help someone. As someone is helping you, reach out to someone to help them, so that by the time you get to that top, you are not the only one there. So people that are only lonely at the top are people that when they were growing up, when they were going to that top, they refused to help others.
But I really would like to ask, in the older generation, if there is something that I've realized that is very, would I say, common amongst them, is that they helped people even in discomfort, even in insatisfaction, and he always came from a place of mo bi tomo wa mo bi to omo awa no ma de lola, stuff like that. How would you classify those type of people? Because I believe that you can actually help people out of pleasing people,
Mm,
to be
that's
very
true. That's
honest.
true.
I think you can help people out of pleasing. So how would you advise people to go about helping sensibly?
Well, I would say that the truth is life is about sacrifices. That's the truth. But it is not every sacrifice. You make wise sacrifice. And one thing I always say is that, because I love to talk about investments too. And one thing I always say is that they say you take calculated risk. There are times that you know that there are people that you will help, that they really need this help at this time. And sometimes you just have to go out of it. It's not everybody that you will help out of comfort. There are people that sometimes you have to go out of your way to help them. But you may never. One thing I will always say is that, because people have helped me in the past, and I know that some of the people that actually helped me, it was not as if they were very comfortable, but they went out of their way to help me. So when you are trying to help people, first thing is that you have to check your intention for helping people. Some of us, the reason why we help people is that so that they will recognize that I am part of your life too.
Yeah.
I have helped you.
Yeah.
When you know that you have a wrong motive for helping, don't help. It is better that you don't help at all. But when one of the reasons why I help is that I feel fulfilled anytime I help people. It is not about whether you come back to say thank you or not. If you come back and say thank you, I will appreciate it. It's just like an encouragement.
Yeah.
But anytime I help people, I always told everyone that I've ever helped that I'm not helping you because maybe probably you used emotion or because you cried and all of that. I'm helping you because I want to feel fulfilled. Because anytime I have the opportunity to help people and I don't help them, I feel I have done something wrong. Anytime I have that opportunity
Opportunity.
to help
Okay.
them and I don't help them, that I have the capacity to help this person and I don't help them, I feel I've done something wrong. So the reason I'm doing it is not for you. I'm doing it for myself. So that at the end I will feel fulfilled that at least I've done something.
But
I've
do you
done
think
something.
that character streams from a place
Character,
of helping people when you have the capacity but not helping them, then feeling like you did something bad?
well, it's just myself. It's just to me. I don't know if it feels like that to everyone else. I don't know.
Mm.
I've never asked the question before. So
Okay.
I don't know if it feels like that. But to me, it's just like I don't know, maybe a sense that I developed while growing up because I was also helped in the past. I grew up from a very humble background. And I've seen people stretched out hands of help even when it is not convenient for them. I've seen it, and I see that sometimes most of them even inconvenient themselves to just see that this person becomes better. Especially my parents, for
I was
instance.
going to ask that.
It's anytime I just remember some of the sacrifices my mom made for us. Sometimes I just feel like no, I have to do something. I have to help others too. I have to help others because it is not it is not always convenient to help. It is not always convenient. Sometimes you do it out of convenience, but most times you do it because you just know that. Because one thing I always tell people is that your parents did not owe you anything. Because the truth is, there are parents that gave birth to their children and they didn't do anything over them. So if they do it, they are just doing it that I want to do this thing. I want to help this child. Yes, I will say that because now, if you say that parents have the responsibility over your life, do you know
Of
that
course.
their parents, just like I said earlier, that they gave birth to children, or probably let's say after they gave birth to the children and they die, let's say the mother died or anything or like that. So how will the child sustain himself? So when you are giving birth to and you always see it as your parents' responsibility, it will affect you in one way. If you are seeing it as your parents' responsibility, that they are the one that are supposed to do this thing for you. So that is why you don't appreciate. Most of us don't appreciate our parents when they sacrifice a lot of things for us. We just see that it's their duty now. They are supposed to do it for me. Actually, you don't know that some of the things that they sacrifice. If we are to go by, the age that we are right now, we are of the age. Just like the man that you talked about said that sometimes you just have to be stay wicked for a while. Let's say that our parents decide that they want to follow that rule, like the Gen Z generation that we are raising now. That I want to stay wicked. I want to make money for a while. They give back to you and they said that I'm not going to do some certain things for you. I want to stay wicked for a while. Do you think that we will become who we are today? Because some of our parents, the sacrifices they are making for us, we don't know it. Some of them, they have taken many loans. They will just come home. You will still go and meet them that daddy, I need
But
something.
I mean, they bet you, of course, they should take responsibilities.
Well, actually, but you know that they can decide not to go to an estate. Some of them go to a very
I
good
think it's the
estate.
good parents that will go through extents now. Because I mean, if you bring something to the world, you should be able to take care of it now.
Well,
It's the truth now.
well, that's true. If you bring something to the world, you are
So are
supposed
you
to.
seeing that some things that your parent did, they kind of helped you, or maybe they pitied you?
No,
I
it's not. It's
mean,
not. It's not. It's not from a place of pity.
okay.
When you help people, it's not as if you pity them. When you help people because
So
you
you
pity
think your
them, is
parents are
not.
helping you?
I think that maybe they saw that this child, I think that is talented or something. Then they decide that I'm going to send this child to school. To me, I see it as a form of helping. That you have a dream and they want to sponsor your dream. There are parents that they don't, once they want give you food, you are meant to eat the food, then go about your way of life. How you are supposed to thrive is none of their business. So
Okay. And the case of a child growing up with a sense of responsibility, but I also at the same time understand or even know that the parent should have a sense of responsibility on of their children, maybe on their children, whatever.
yes, I agree with you, but I want you to look at it in this sense that the basic needs that, if you look at the olden days when you are giving birth to, your parents are supposed to actually provide you with clothing, shelter, and of course, after a while they will take you to farm. You will start working. That means even some of the things that you are, they will just probably give you primary education. For instance, even in those days, if you notice very well, some of our parents that even went to school then, I'm not talking about our immediate parents, some of us, our forefathers, they actually went to school were because probably they gained access to scholarship because their parents could not actually afford it.
And that's a different case. The fact
Now,
that you can afford it, do it.
now, some what I'm now saying is some of our parents, it's not as if they can afford it. You know, what you can afford is different from something. Now, if I want to buy a book, if I have 5,000 naira and I want to buy a book, I can afford that book at that moment. But at that moment, let's say I don't have money and I want to buy this book, and I go to an extent of, let's say I want to take a loan to get this book. You know that I've gone to an extent, which means I don't have the money presently with me. So if our parents were to stick with what they have presently with them, there are some things that they will not give us. But they have gone beyond themselves. They have gone beyond what they should do. You know, taking loan. And the truth is, I've seen parents that have taken multiple loans so that their children can go to school. And you know, going to school is just these days that it is becoming like a normal thing that everyone wants to go to school and all of that. Everyone wants to go to school. But then you see that some of the parents back then, they will not do, they will just go to farm. I've given you all of this thing. So would you say that some those parents were not good parents?
Let's connect this thing to
Okay.
God. Oh. If God created us and just said, oh yeah, I won't provide you rain, I won't provide you sunlight, I won't provide you water, just find your way around. You know that even when Adam was in the garden, he told them that this fruit, don't eat of it. Oh. He said, you till the land. Even before he even created man, he created all that man would need.
Yes.
As a responsible father.
Okay.
Now I believe that there's a place of training your child. I believe that you birth a child, you brought the child to this world. I'm not saying that I'm not feeling grateful for my parents sending me to school. I'm very grateful for that, but I see it as a place of, it's also their responsibility. It is now my own responsibility to build a sense of responsibility for myself. Right, I can't just give birth and then I'm like, oh yeah, go and live your life anyhow you want. I should be able to give you template on how to live your life. I can't say, oh, if I don't want to send you to school and find a way to go to school now. That kind of, there's it's how would I say, there's a way it even affects the child to an extent. Of course, yes, it gives you a sense of responsibility early, but there are some things that I believe you should not be exposed to early. You can cut this part. I'm just like strongly disagree
Yes,
with
yes,
that.
I understand.
But then I understand you. I understand
But you
you.
know, the points where you mentioned about Adam and God providing them everything that they need. Actually, God provided them with everything that they need, the basic things that they need. But you know that at the end, after that, Adam was chased out of the Garden of Eden.
Out of his own disobedience.
Yes, after he was chased out of it, you know, he had to actually, after then, everyone that has always been on the face of the earth, you have your responsibility to play. God has given you everything that you need. Now, you now have your responsibility to make use of everything that God has given you, to implement it, to make use, to bring something for yourself. Because if you don't do it, you are going to die of hunger.
That's what I'm saying, that you are now having a sense of responsibility. But God, being a responsible father himself, created all that man would need even before he created man.
Okay.
Do you understand? If God says, oh, I bring you to this world, oh, there's no fruit of the garden, there's no vegetable to maybe cook, there's no wisdom that she has given to us to say, oh, this is how you can even make charcoal or gas to prepare this food. Right, it is him saying, I've given you all that. That's a response. I believe that God should even be our template in even parenting, to be very honest.
Yes, actually. But you know, one thing that we cannot compare ourselves to God is that God is all sufficient. He can do everything. So he has the ability. And everything that God did was not out of his ability. It is part of it. He has the capability to do all of it.
And
The
you to
rain,
bringing
all
a
of
child
it.
should be part of your capability.
Yes. Now, what I'm now saying is that now, some of us, our parents, did not have the ability to send us to school.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They do not have that ability. The ability could have just been probably go and learn something. But because they want us to become someone, they went out of their way. That was what I'm saying. That they went out of their way, out of the ability that they have. Some of them, they went to take as many loans as possible so that this child will go to school. So that thing, it is not as if some of them, even after you have finished school, they are still paying the loan, and they will never ask you that, oh, I
I
took a loan for
understand
you.
that
Exactly.
one.
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is not every parent. There are some parents that giving you that those things is normal because they have the ability to give you.
Mm,
But there are some of us that are giving us, it is not in their ability because they do not have it. It's not as if they don't want to give it. They do not
mm,
have it. So, but they have to go out of their way to make it happen. So that's what I'm
mm.
saying
Okay.
right now. So what I'm saying is that there are some that went out of their way to do
Mm,
that thing for us, and there are some that they have the. If your parents have the ability and they don't give you, then you can call them that they are not good parents. But there are
okay.
parents that they are good, they have the intention. Now, for instance, when I mentioned about taking loan, you know that it is only parents that probably are doing government job or something that can actually go into loan and all of that. Let's talk of parents that are probably into farming. Some
Mm,
of them they don't have anywhere to go, even farming. I remembered watching a movie. I know probably you'd have watched the movie Enoch
mm,
about Daddy E. A. Adeboye.
mm,
The man mentioned that his father had to go and sell his ram,
mm,
the one of the only ram that he had, to go and send to make sure that Daddy E. A. Adeboye went to secondary school,
mm.
because all of them in that family, what he could afford is that send him to primary school. After primary school, join me in the farm, start living, and that way he has shown him a template. This is how I'm living my life. I'm a farmer, like I'm a farmer. This is what I'm doing. So come to farm. I will teach you how to do this thing. This is
I
how to
think
do
that
it.
case is different, but that's not the point of this thing. But
Yes,
let me drop my last this thing. I feel like it comes from a sense of gratitude. You must be a responsible child to know that, oh, my parent went through this for me, then I
exactly what I'm
should be
saying.
grateful. But
Exactly
then
what I'm saying.
I'm not seeing that what they are doing for me is like they are helping me.
Probably
In the big
because
sense, is their responsibility to do it.
they have the ability to do it. That's what I'm saying. You see the same thing
I
they are saying.
understand that they have the ability to do
Mhm.
it, but the way you are saying, like, okay, Tiboba Bimonsi is my decision to say I don't want to take care of you. That's the way it's sounding to
No,
me.
no, no, no. That's not what I meant actually. That's
Okay,
not what I meant actually.
no
So I'm
problem.
just saying about having the ability to take care of your children